Welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? We're unpacking the underlying mechanics of Dano Finance today. Now, if you've been hanging around the decentralized finance space for any amount of time, you already know that liquidity is literally the lifeblood of any network. So today, we're going to look specifically at how Dano Finance is aiming to completely solve the issue of liquidity fragmentation on Cardano, which, let's be honest, would create a massively smoother experience for all of us.
Right, let's dive into this by addressing a major community frustration, one you've probably experienced firsthand. There's this growing perception out there that Cardano's liquidity is just totally fractured across way too many stablecoins. We're talking USDA, USDM, USDCX, JED. And look, when liquidity gets split up across all these different tokens, trading gets clunky. It increases slippage, and you're suddenly forced to constantly swap between different stable pairs just to make a basic trade. So it begs a totally valid question. Does Cardano have too many stablecoins? Do some of them just need to go?
Well, enter Dano Finance. They're stepping up as a really powerful, elegant solution to this exact problem. And their stance? It's a firm no. We don't have too many stablecoins, we just need better infrastructure to handle them. Their approach basically allows you to conveniently use whatever stablecoin you prefer without dealing with that headache of fragmented liquidity. You really shouldn't be penalized for holding USDM instead of USDA, and with their system, you actually aren't.
Their underlying philosophy here is simple. But man, is it powerful. A connected Cardano ecosystem is vastly stronger and way more efficient than isolated, siloed, decentralized applications. Think about it. If every DEX acts like its own little walled garden, the entire network suffers, right? Users get worse prices, and capital becomes incredibly inefficient. But by shifting that paradigm from siloed dApps to a deeply connected ecosystem, the entire network's liquidity pools work together. They compound their strength instead of dividing it.
So, the crucial concept you really need to grasp today is their global order book. This is a unified architecture designed to completely level the playing field. To put it in practical terms, let's say you want to swap 10 grand worth of USDM, USDA, or USDCX into ADA. Well, the global order book ensures you get almost identical results across the board on Dano V2. Because of this unified system, the days of a stablecoin monopoly on Cardano are basically over. You're free to use the stable asset that fits your needs, knowing you've got the full weight of the network's liquidity backing your trade.
And under the hood, the routing is completely deterministic. Say you want to buy an asset like Strike, or you just want to get into ADA, but you're holding a really specific stablecoin. The protocol might actually map out a route where the very first step is swapping your USDM to USDA directly on Dano StableSwap. Then, step 2 is taking that USDA and swapping it for ADA on a totally different exchange, like MinSwap. The system just automatically hunts for the absolute best route across multiple order books to make sure your slippage is minimal.
And here is the kicker. This is the number that makes this entire system so ridiculously attractive to DeFi users. 0.05%. Even when your swap has to route through a stable swap to find that optimal path, the additional fee is an incredibly low 0.05%. But beyond just being cheap, because of Cardano's EUTXO architecture, this entire complex routing sequence executes in a single, perfectly deterministic transaction. So no surprises. You know exactly what you're going to get before you ever even hit the confirm button.
Now, this global order book isn't just some whiteboard concept. It's live. It is routing trades right now. As the DeFi kernel on Cardano continues to grow, Dano has already natively integrated major decentralized exchanges. We're talking MinSwap, Wing Riders, and Sunday. They are all officially part of this global order book today. That means when you trade on Dano, you are simultaneously tapping into the liquidity pools of all three of these massive platforms at once.
But they absolutely aren't stopping there. Dano is actively expanding this network, literally adding more integrations every single week. And what's really fantastic about their approach is that they're actually turning to the users to help chart the roadmap. They're directly asking the community, hey, which DEX should we add next? It's just a great way to make sure the protocol is actually serving the people who use it day in and day out.
Just check out the current candidates in their community poll. We've got CSwap, Cardano Swap, ViFi, Liquid, Fluid, and Surf. I mean, it represents a real push to unite liquidity across a massive, diverse variety of protocols. Whether it's a traditional AMM, an order book DEX, or a lending protocol, pulling all of the whole shebang into one unified routing system is what's ultimately going to solve this fragmentation problem on Cardano once and for all.
Okay, shifting gears for just a second. Let's look at a totally different way Dano's community plans to utilize this connected ecosystem.
While the global order book is optimizing all that back-end efficiency, the community is actively looking for ways to drive up on-chain transaction volume on the Cardano network itself. And the proposal they came up with? A fully decentralized Cardano Lotto.
The mechanics here are wonderfully simple, and it's entirely handled by code. Step 1. Literally anyone can place a tiny 2 ADA bet and pick a number between 0 and 99. Step 2. At the end of the epoch, a deterministic smart contract kicks in and generates a random number. Step 3. Whoever picked the winning number wins 80 times their bet, so your 2 ADA magically turns into a 160 ADA payout. It's fully automated, completely transparent, and purposely designed to generate a high volume of these microtransactions.
You might be wondering, though, how is the house actually bankrolled? Well, this Lotto ecosystem is cleverly backed by a staking pool. The rewards are funded by the bettors themselves, for sure, but also by this pool. Investors can actually stake their ADA in the pool to act as the house. If the total winning payouts are less than the total bet fees collected, those stakers share in the profits. But here's the catch. To keep the broader ecosystem healthy, if those investors make money, they are required to pay a 20% cut of their profit directly to the treasury before they can make any withdrawals. It is a fascinating closed-loop economic design.
It's certainly an intriguing community concept, right? And it perfectly highlights the flexibility of Cardano smart contracts. So I'll leave you with this final thought to explore. If this goes live, is this a fun mechanism you would actually use? Would you throw down a 2-8-day bet just to help boost Cardano's network activity and maybe win a little in the process? It's just a prime example of how community-driven ideas can tackle macro network goals in highly creative ways. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep exploring how unified liquidity is completely reshaping decentralized finance.